right, we are live. We are live. Welcome. This was a spur of the moment stream. I was supposed to make a video. House of the Dragon Season 2 is out. Let's see. I have it pulled up, right? Yes, we do. So we're going to... I don't know why I just got a kick of, like, nervousness or anxiety before this. I don't know why. It's weird. But it's making my voice kind of waver. Okay, so I'm going to break this down. Oh, why can't you guys see it? There we go. Is that a joke? What is it doing? That's why you couldn't see it. I had it invisible. But yeah, so we're going to break down the weeks ahead trailer frame by frame. Maybe not frame by frame. It's kind of hard to do that live, but that's what the video was going to be. So I'm going to talk about the most interesting moments from that trailer. But before that, I want to talk about... Here, let me do this again. Do that. There's two things, right? The most exciting one... Night of the Seven Kingdoms, obviously, the news on that is that we've got... Wait, the wrong article. Crap, that one's full of ads. Alright, there we go. So, the big one is that we have our first ever HD image from Night of the Seven Kingdoms. And this is exciting because this dude in this image... I can't remember the actor's name. I think he's been in some stuff, but like almost every single actor that's involved with any of these TV shows, they're not like super known for whatever their previous works for, and that whatever their previous works were, and that works amazing for House of the Dragon, Game of Thrones, Song of Ice and Fire universe, because you don't want a massive star to come in and outshine the work that they're doing. I say that, but it's totally possible to get a big name for a series if it's just written well enough, right? But that's the first big news. Duncan Egg, first HD image. I saw a bunch of comments on social media, and I agree with this. The big thing that they got correct, right? One of the big things from this image, they haven't probably filmed much past the first episode or the first couple scenes, right? But, excuse me. When Dunk first becomes a knight, he's not really a knight in the typical sense, because most knights in Westeros have money. They have money. They come from a higher up house. Now, there's lots of houses in Westeros. There's greater houses and there's lower houses. Typically, a house of some significance with, if they don't have significance, they have some backing, meaning like they're a vassal of a greater house that does have money, right? So you could become a knight under that lord. Usually you have armor. And when you're dubbed a knight, you're a squire first, but you're dubbed a knight by another knight. Yes, any knight can make a knight, yes, but typically, right, you were like dubbed in a way where there's like proof that you're a knight, right? Like, you have armor, Maybe there's a few witnesses. Maybe you actually owned the things that you're wearing. But that's not the case with our boy Dunk, because the story starts out with he's a squire, right? But Sir Arlen of Pennytree, the knight that he's a squire for, is dead. He's dying in the ground. As a matter of fact, the opening scene, if you even want to call it that, it's a book. But the opening moments of the Hedge Knight is Dunk is digging a grave for this dude. That's the actual knight that Dunk is a squire for, Sir Arlen of Pennytree, right? So Dunk basically was a rat, so to speak, like a orphan from Flea Bottom, right, in King's Landing. His earliest memories are of like hanging out with some boys in the slums of King's Landing, Flea Bottom, right? And he would learn how to fight dirty. Like, the whole Night of the Seven Kingdoms is from one POV, and it's from Dunk, which is unusual because in George's work, what makes A Song of Ice and Fire so amazing is that George writes POVs from like 17 different characters, right? So people were giving me crap for bouncing all over the place, but you gotta understand, but before I do these live streams, I smoke hella bud, but I also like drink mad caffeine, right? So that in combination with my self-diagnosed autism, with my self-diagnosed ADHD, with my self-diagnosed bipolar disorder, it's kind of hard for me to stream a straight line of consciousness. But most of the time, I get back to the point, right? So anyway, what was my point? Gotcha. I didn't forget. I'm stalling for time because now I remember. Dunk, what makes Night of the Seven Kingdoms so unique in the written world of A Song of Ice and Fire is that it's from one solo POV, right? Whereas the main series, multiple POVs, and when you typically read a book, so like my experience, let's say a book like Dune, right? The Dune series, the very first Dune book, is written from everybody's point of view. And then there's a third-person omnipresent narrator, right? So you get to know the internal thoughts and monologues of Paul, right? Paul Atreides, his mother, and then also his father, and then also Baron Harkonnen, because the opening, like, couple of chapters switches to the Harkonnen side. So you find out that, oh, there's this dude who's, like, a little bit... Well, I don't know if you could call him gay in the books, but he, like, the books were written in the 60s, right? And, like, Frank Herbert kind of, I wouldn't say he was homophobic, but some of the way that he wrote Baron Harkonnen was a bit homophobic. But anyway, my whole point was that that book is written from multiple POVs that switch back and forth all at once, and then you also have a third-person omnipresent narrator that will explain things as if they're there, but not actually there in physical presence, right? So you'll have, like, Paul walk to the door, but then it'll switch to Paul remembered, and then you'll get his internal thoughts, right? But Game of Thrones is unique because it's written from, whereas, like, using the Dune example, it'd be... The first chapter would be Paul's POV, and it would be all of Paul's thoughts and monologue and everything he experiences. And then the next chapter would be Paul's mom's POV, and then it'd be everything she experienced alongside Paul, and then her interpretation of things, right? So that's how the A Song of Ice and Fire books are written, and that's what makes them so unique, right? Sometimes you get, or most of the time rather, you get way better of an image of things that are happening and going down in the world that you're reading on, right? The world building is amazing. You're much more immersed than you would be if it was a story that was written all from one POV, or kind of like Dune, how it kind of switches around. But Dune is a really good book. I don't mean to talk crap about it. It's just Song of Ice and Fire is much more immersive that way. So George did something different for Night of the Seven Kingdoms, and that he wrote, all from Dunk's POV. We only know the experiences from Dunk himself, right? So getting back on track, Dunk, his earliest memories during, the story are that of being in, an orphan in the slums of King's Landing, and sort of having to fight his way to do really kind of everything or anything, I guess. But the dirty fighting that he learns there as a kid helps him later on in the story when he's 1v1 a couple characters that aren't necessarily used to that fighting style, right? So, getting back to the image, one of the things that they got right, or I mean, it looks amazing. They got a bunch of stuff right, we would assume, right? We haven't seen anything other than this image, but the Dunk doesn't have armor, he doesn't have clothing really, and he's such a big dude that he kind of towers over everyone in the scene. And that's what we're getting from this. He's clearly like a foot and a half or a head and a half taller than almost everyone in the scene. He's got a belt that looks like it could be made out of hemp. And the sword that he's wearing doesn't look like the best. The cloak that he's rocking is looking like just raggedy. It kind of looks like, he's not a knight. And that's the whole point, is that when he gets to the tourney at Ashford, which is, remember, the book starts out with him burying this dude, Sir Arlen of Pennytree, that he was a squire for. Once he ends up getting to this tourney that he decides to go to make some money, to maybe buy armor, buy a horse, and become an actual hedge knight, right? no one believes that he's an actual knight, and part of it's because of the way he looks. He doesn't have any armor. He doesn't have a squire. His horses are kind of beat up a little bit. Not really, not necessarily, right? But the armor and the stuff that he did get from Sir Arlen of Pennytree is ill-fitting because Sir Arlen is obviously way smaller than Dunk. So this image kind of is cool because it encompasses a bunch of things that I'm really excited about for A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. They also cast a bunch of actors, too. This dude right here, top left, the only one you need to concern yourself with, Finn Bennett. Never heard of him? He kind of looks like the dude that played, is currently playing, what's that monster from Stranger Things? What's the monster? With the weird face? But he kind of looks like that guy, and that guy was supposedly a Targaryen in the original, Blood Moon thing. But anyway, that dude's going to be playing Aerion Brightflame, right? Or Aerion Targaryen. Aerion Brightflame is pretty famous Targaryen, right? He's obviously a bully. He's a butthole, but those are the best types of characters to watch on screen because you're like, that's entertaining, right? So one of the things you need to know about him is that Dunk will beat the crap out of him in Season 1, using that dirty fighting that I was talking about that he learned in the slums of King's Landing as an orphan child. Main reason being is because it was cutthroat. The kids in King's Landing are pretty ruthless. They'll kill you, they'll steal you, they'll rob you stuff, so Dunk had to learn how to survive that way, right? Aerion Brightflame, on the other hand, Targaryen, right? He's kind of given everything his whole life. Not the greatest warrior, not the greatest fighter, and he's got the worst attitude ever because he's a Targ. And at this time, the Targs don't have their dragons, but they've been the royal family in power in Westeros, uncontested unless by another Targaryen, right? Because of the House of the Dragon show in 130 AC, we have the Civil War that's going on. But aside from that, Targaryens have been in power for 210, 211 years, depending on when exactly they start this show. So they're much more confident. There's Targaryens everywhere. There's more Targaryens now in this show than there are... I don't know, who cares? There's a way to quantify it. You could count how many Targaryens are alive during this time and how many are alive during that time and just assume, right? But whatever. They're just way more confident because they've been in power for much longer, and like I said, they don't have their dragons, but they're just more acclimated into the Seven Kingdoms, and it's at a time period that's a lot closer to the main series, and they'll have to focus on the things that made Game of Thrones amazing. And there's actual dialogue to adapt because, like I said, there's a POV, whereas in Fire and Blood, there's no POVs. It's all written from maesters and Mushroom and stuff and a Septon. So, I don't know. I'm pretty excited about this. It's going to be awesome. Let's see how many people we got watching. So 44 people, that's what's up. Shout out to everybody. Let's see who's in the chat. Let's see participants. Shout out to Joseph Larkin, Marjan, Muhammad Akrut, and Reese from Philly. I am gaming. And that's it. If you were watching and you haven't typed in the chat, hello, thank you for watching. So that was one of the newses. Was the cast? Well, I mean, I don't really know what to say about the other castings because I don't really know these actors. But yeah, super excited. This image looks amazing. Yeah, there we go. A little bit bigger image. Looks cool. The hempen rope looks dope. Like I said, a couple comments on social media, I saw people were saying that. I agree with that. It does look awesome. What's the most important thing? Two important things is that you get someone who is extremely tall. And this dude's like 6'5", and then also someone who can pull off the role of being a gentle giant, but then also, I don't even know how to explain it because I'm not an actor and I'm not a casting director, so I don't know the right words to describe it. But basically, you need somebody that can be like a Hodor, hello, like a lovable lunk, but then you also need someone who could beat the crap out of most people and then in a second can be intimidating. Because let's be honest, most people in Westeros, if they saw someone, once Dunk actually puts his armor on at the tourney at Ashford, and we're having that trial by 7, which we know this 6-episode first season is going to end on, is going to be, you're going to be pretty scared of this dude, right? So you got to be able to be physically imposing, I guess that's the word. But then also, like, dumb, dim-witted, light-headed, lovable loser, freaking, never kissed a girl kind of, right? Because that's what Dunk is. He's a virgin. You know what I mean? He's literally never done it with a girl before. He's never licked her lips he's never licked her never lips down there. You know? Let me not get too carried away. All right. Another thing that I wanted to talk about. Let's see. Let's do this first. I already had this pulled up, believe it or not. I know you don't believe it. So this one is kind of like, I mean, I want to get y'all's thoughts on it, because it's kind of like, it's not really, like, it's no stake in me, but it kind of is as a fan, because, like, you want the show to continue, to be successful, right? Man, I gotta poop. I should have waited till I did all my normal morning poops before coming to do this. That's one thing about ramming that coffee, is that I might have to take a shite break here soon. All right, so the news from Variety. House of the Dragon Season 2 premiere hits 7.8 million viewers, down 22% from series launch, but bringing Max its biggest streaming day ever. Okay, the last part, bringing Max its biggest streaming day ever. Didn't they say that The Last of Us was like the biggest show ever? I could have sworn I saw a headline that, like, the concurrent viewers for The Last of Us was more than the total concurrent viewers for House of the Dragon. What does that mean? What's the biggest streaming day ever? Is it Max, meaning, like, not including HBO Go and HBO Now and HBO Max, but just, like, Max since they launched as just Max, like, last year or whatever? That's possible. I'm going to let you know why, is because they haven't had any shows this big premiere on us. I don't know what that is. The big thing, though, is it's down 22% from the series launch. 22% sounds like a lot. That's like almost a quarter. Okay, so let's see what the article says. The drop is partially attributed to a decline in linear viewings. Per Nielsen, how can you determine Nielsen ratings when everybody's watching it on streaming? About 1 million fewer viewers turned into HBO's cable channel on Sunday than they did for the season 1 premiere. Despite the decline, according to Warner Brothers Discovery, the episode still led Max to its blah, blah, blah. Warner Brothers Discovery also noted that this was the biggest season 2 premiere than any company streamers have achieved in Europe, which was expected as Max only launched in Europe in May. And is generally more popular in Discovery. We don't care about none of this. After premiering with 10 million viewers in 2022, Season 1 hit its peak with 10.2 million. I mean, I've seen people say stuff like a drop in ratings in Season 2 is normal. I've seen people say that Game of Thrones had a drop of ratings in Season 2. Then I saw comment. This was all in the same thread. I saw a comment where someone, and I didn't actually look this up, but I saw a comment where someone said, I probably should have. I saw a comment where someone said, let me make the chat a little bit bigger so I can read what you guys are saying. Cover up all these stupid ads from this massive media conglomerate website. Y'all don't need that. What was I about to say? Okay, there we go. Oh yeah, I've seen people saying that like 7.8 million is the same numbers from where Game of Thrones was at in season 6. I don't know what it is. I will say, and I think most people agreed with this in the comment section. I immediately thought of it. I said it in my live stream, and I said it in a couple videos. You can't go 2 years. You can't do that. You can't go 2 years and between launching a new show. Like, this is a totally new series. Like, obviously, Game of Thrones, biggest television series of all time. The greatest, right? Biggest and the greatest of all time. Season 8 did not, kind of silly if you think 6 episodes ruined 77 episodes. That's nuts. That's crazy. It's nonsense. I'm sorry, it wasn't 77 episodes. Let's see. 10 episodes all the way up to season 6. That's 60. 7 episodes for season 7. That's 67. And 6 more. I lost count. That's 73 episodes of television. 6 don't ruin 67. Okay? Sorry, but that's just the case. I'm definitely going to have to go take a poop before we start breaking down the trailer. So, yeah, just letting y'all know. It's crazy. It won't take me that long, though. You know, I'm on the creatine. I'm on the supplements that make you have to poop. A little bit of magnesium. Actually, I think it's mostly protein shakes. It's all protein shakes. They run right through me. I haven't had one this morning, but I have one before I go to bed at nighttime because it helps my stomach fill up and then I sleep better at night. But anyway, you can't go 2 years between launching a show. Like, that's just don't do that. Please. Make it faster. I saw Matt Smith was talking, or did an interview, and he was saying, we're going to start filming later this year. That's good. That's good. You should have already started filming. Like, I know the actors need a break. I know everybody needs time off, but also, don't you want money? Aren't you doing this because you want a career? You want to be paid? Like, obviously, you're a fan of, like, the world, and, like, that's what made you want to sign up for it as an actor. But, like, I'm saying this as if the actor said they don't want to work. No, but yeah, like, get it done. Get it done. Ryan Condal should have already finalized the scripts, and I'm about to go poop. So let's take a small break. Chat amongst yourselves. We're traveling through the streets of King's Landing. We've been streaming for 21 minutes now. I'll mark this. I'll try to timestamp this in the comments. You know what? No, I won't. I always say that, but I won't. But I really do gotta go poop. So yeah, I'll be right back. Poop time. That's not what I asked. I didn't say that. I didn't say, was the episode great apart from the ending? I say, who else thinks, okay, that Helaena, Fia Savan, I think her name is Sophia. Is that true? Can somebody tell me if that's true or not? But yeah, that's not what I asked, chat. Cobra, the entire episode was great apart from the ending. We're going to break down the trailer. I feel a lot better after having removed the poop from my pals. Divine Shriek says, Fia Saban absolutely nailed her role. You could see the horror in her eyes. Exactly, yes. I saw or listened to a clip, like a little 5-second, maybe 50 seconds from the official Game of Thrones podcast. They call it that, but like the host kind of doesn't really know enough about the lore, for me at least. They just talk about the TV show. Y'all need to bring up the lore more. Like, anyway, I saw, damn it, I listened to it, and she was saying how she like modeled, or she had played Helen of Troy or something in a play or something like that. You could just tell she kind of knew what she was talking about. Like, the way that she was mentioning things about how certain famous characters from Greek plays, like Greek tragedies or whatever, did certain things. It was like, oh, okay, that's interesting. I need to go back and listen to it because I'm kind of uninformed about it. But yeah, they did an amazing job. Aaron Ayers said, when are you going to do more content with Gray Area and Dire Wolf City? I don't know who Dire Wolf City is, but Gray Area, I've only done like one video with her over the past 4 years. Probably never, to be completely honest with you. I don't think we are going to do content together. But she makes videos. You can go watch her stuff. Yeah, I mean, obviously I have problems with Blood and Cheese. I talked about that during my live stream, but I just wanted to gauge more so what you guys thought of like the actual acting from the actor, because I was shocked that people were talking crap about the acting. I was like, that's what you chose the acting as opposed to like the book changes or like the dialogue or like the way that they wrote the scene. You chose the acting to nitpick, and I thought that was kind of interesting because to me that was the best part of it. It's like totally believable, right? She clearly, like every instance we've had with the character, she clearly spends an amazing amount of time in her own head. So, of course, it would make sense that when something that crazy happens, she's going to go further into her own head. Because remember, she was doing that on the bench in episode, what was it? Was it episode 8 or was it 9? Remember, the episode, obviously episode 9 is where Rhaenys busts up through the floor. But there was an episode before that where Fia was like, kind of rocking back and forth, and Alicent like comfort her, and then as soon as she touches her, like Helaena goes, "There's a beast beneath the boards." Like she literally was like in her own head, right, doing exactly what we saw she did during, Blood and Cheese. So to me, it wasn't shocking that she did that, and I don't think it was bad acting. I mean, maybe, I don't know. I'm not somebody who will be like, oh, that acting was good or that acting was bad. It's more like if the script is bad, the actor's kind of like a blank slate that's doing what they're told. That's why people say actors are stupid, because they're like, they kind of can be filled with whatever. They're like a vessel, right? And they turn into whatever is poured into them for the movie. At least good actors anyway. So she did exactly what was told and did it amazingly. So, yeah, I don't know. Just thought it was kind of interesting. People were talking crap about it. Jay Sand says the acting was excellent. Yes, agreed. Divine Sharika says, praying day and night for Sir Hunts to host the podcast for the Duncan Egg Show. I don't think I'm going to do anything. I mean, obviously, if they ask me, I would. But that's never going to happen. Like, I think I'm too, like, I say whatever I want. I know it sounds like I'm being edgy teenager, but I like, you can't, I don't know. Like, I've said too much. I've talked too much crap about the show, I guess, and I'm not known for doing that, but for this show, like, if I had a chance to do something for the thing, I've been, like, too realistic in my opinions, even with season 1, because, like, I had the director a director, Claire Kilner, for she directed episodes this season, but she also did season 1. She was following me on Instagram, and I still explained how there were certain things that I didn't like with episode 9. And I think, like, if anybody's going to work for HBO, you can't talk any kind of crap about anything they do with how the show's direction goes. You just got to say what you liked about it, and I would assume that. Like, I don't know. I don't listen to the official podcast and know what they talk about too much. I mean, I have before in the past, but it kind of just seems like they're just shooting the breeze with the actor, at least. It doesn't seem like they're getting too in-depth with anything. Like, I'll talk about anything. As long as it's not a word that'll get me demonetized, I'll mention anything. And I think, obviously HBO wouldn't like that. I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't say I have nothing to lose, but like usually those people have more at stake, so they're like more careful about what they're saying. So yeah, I don't know. But anyway, let's break down the actual trailer, because that's why y'all are here, right? All right. So there's no audio, right? I'm gonna have the captions played. I'm about to go turn off the AC in my house because it's really cold up here. But it's gonna play super slow-mo like this. I'll let it play, and then I'll stop it and talk about what just happened. And the main reason being is because copyright. Like, obviously, I don't want to lose monetization on this video. Not because of something I didn't say. I don't want to lose it because of that. But also, HBO will totally claim this if I play too much of the video without, And also, I have the chat over top of it, superimposed over top of it. So hopefully that'll kind of help with the algorithm. But let me go turn off the air real quick. I'll be right back. Talk amongst yourselves. Okay, so in the first few seconds of this trailer, we have HBO telling us it's them. Then we got a shot of Dragonstone. That is very clearly Caraxes. Yeah, look at those. Can you guys see that? Yeah, you can. Perfect. Look at that. You see those weird leg fins? The deformed dragon. So let me just kind of skip to the scene that we want to discuss. All right, here we go. So this shot is of Rhaenyra's children. It looks as though all of these clips are spread out. So it looks like it covers a bunch of stuff, but they're all kind of related. It seems like it's the first 4 episodes, right? Like, that's... I don't know if they released 4 episodes to the media, but they've done that before where they'll release a bunch of episodes to critics, let them watch them, and then, kind of get whatever they thought of those out there, but then remove like any kind of spoilers for it. So they've seen like a good chunk of the season. So it seems like most of these scenes are from the first 4 episodes. The main reason being is because I don't have to take a wild guess too much to know that none of the scenes that they're showing are past like episode 4 or maybe even 5, right? Because it looks like there is a scene in episode 2. They're gonna have Jaehaerys' funeral, right? It looks like there's a scene where there's a riot that sort of breaks out with Helaena and Alicent. It might be episode 2. It might be one of like either episode 3 or 4. But there's going to be a very similar scene that happens, except for instead of Jaehaerys' body, it's going to be the head of Melee's. And what's interesting is that when Tom Glenn was filming, we didn't see him kind of at all. So a lot of his stuff was filmed indoors. And if you know what happens at Rook's Rest, I'm kind of all over the place, but if you know what happens at Rook's Rest, he's going to be looking insane. So, you know, episode 2 is most likely going to start out with, like, this scene right here. We have Rhaenyra probably bouncing back a little bit from the death of Lucerys. Like, obviously, that's completely destroyed her character, but she's kind of back to her mothering ways, because we see she's, like, parenting over the show's version of Viserys and Aegon, like her 2 youngest. Those 2 are the ones who make it so that Rhaenyra wins. I did a video, like, literally a week ago to this day, did it last Wednesday, and the thumbnail said, Rhaenyra wins, because she does. Rhaenyra wins. She dies, she gets fed to Sunfire, but she wins because her heirs sit the Iron Throne, and the Targaryen line is carried on through her. All of the Targaryens that come, right, after her are direct descendants of her through her sons. So she wins the Dance of the Dragons. If you don't think she wins, you should be smacked and pushed out of a window head first, so that when you hit the ground, they knock some sense in your brain. Rhaenyra wins. Don't be dumb. The whole reason why I'm doing this is because there was like 3 or 4 comments on the video that people were like, you should totally change that. Rhaenyra doesn't win, she loses. And then there was another one that's like, spoilers! And it's like, dude, come on. This has been out since 2018. Fire and Blood came out in 2018. Princess and the Queen and the Rogue Prince, like 2013 and 2012. So come on, dude. We know how this ends. Joffrey, Game of Thrones, season 4, season 3, whatever, with Margie. He literally points down to Rhaenyra's grave and goes, yeah, her brother fed her to his dragon. Right there. That's the biggest spoiler ever. But yeah, so anyway. Those 2 right there, Viserys and Aegon, it looks like Rhaenyra is kind of standing over them. And then you hear like a voiceover come in where Rhaenyra goes, you've screwed up my claim. Like, before this, I've honestly been innocent of any war crimes that were committed, but now you've screwed up my claim. I kind of want to see what Daemon's reaction is going to be, because remember, he told them to kill Aemond. So when Rhaenyra says, you screwed up my claim, he's probably going to say something like, well, actually, technically, I told them to go and kill Aemond, not the baby, who was completely innocent. So yeah, I don't know. Because remember, they cut away that scene. It's like, it's implied. Like, obviously, he said a son, right? But it's implied. The most brutal moment, I think, that's coming, aside from Blood and Cheese, is probably going to be, like, we've seen like a small little chunk of it in the trailer. It's but I don't know if I could say that, because I don't know, the show's kind of doing, like, the show, the changes that it's made from the lore, it shows you that it's 100% not afraid to make some drastic changes from the source material. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, you gotta wait to see, right? Because you don't know. Some of the changes so far have been bad, and some of them have been good, right? I think, potentially, giving Rhaenyra a larger role, but not making it so that they're just, like, making her a favorable character. But if you give her a larger role and sort of show that she's damaged and she'll make mistakes, so you want to give the actor, obviously, Emma Darcy, that's playing them, you want to give them more scenes, right? So that they have a larger role in this story, and you're not just, like, putting them on a back burner until halfway through halfway through the series itself, when they finally start playing, when their character finally starts playing a role, right? That kind of change from the lore could be good if they do it the right way, right? But, like, ultimately, I was about to say the most gut-wrenching moment, aside from Blood and Cheese, would be what happens at Rook's Rest. What happens at Rook's Rest, it looks like Baela on Moondancer flies and finds Rhaenys' corpse, right? Because we see her flying Moondancer at a location that is definitely Rook's Rest, and the actor who played Baela, I think, was actually seen filming near there. Now, I will say this. I get some stuff wrong. I've said that Baela shouldn't be flying Moondancer because Moondancer was too small for Baela to mount her, up until the point where Baela does it to go and, like, fight against Aegon and Sunfire. Ultimately, the wounds that Moondancer takes from that battle kill Moondancer, so Baela's dragon ends up dying, but so does Sunfire. Like, Sunfire dies directly from the wound, as a result of the wounds that it receives in the battle with Moondancer. So you have a moon and the sun. Anyway, it looks like a really heart-wrenching, gut-wrenching moment could be potentially when Baela flies her dragon. Oh yeah, the part that I got wrong. Baela, it's mentioned in Fire and Blood, like, sort of later on, because it like describes events and then backtracks a little bit, but it mentions that Baela was just barely able to get into the air, and she was flying back and forth between places. So I've said that wrong a few times. But anyway, let's break the trailer down. Carla Way says, how dare he kick the doggy? Yeah, I mean, it's Game of Thrones. That's what they do. The show's known for it. Kind of made me giggle a little bit because I was like, yo, wasn't he just carrying that dog? Like, he's like, this is my puppy. And he's like, make you. But it's like, he did it literally right after Blood bullied him. So he's like, he took out all of the stuff on the dog. Like, I can't remember if they did it with Chet in Game of Thrones, in a storm. Is it a Clash of Kings? When Jon goes ranging north of the wall, when the old bear is still alive. So this is like season 2 in Game of Thrones. There's this dude named Chet, who is a steward, that's like got kind of a really cozy and comfortable position at the Night's Watch. He's helping Maester Aemon, and Maester Clytus, who's not really a maester, but just kind of helping them do things in their cabin at Castle Black, like preparing their meals and stuff and helping blind Maester Aemon. Jon Snow comes up with the idea to give Sam that job because Sam is so bad at everything else, and Sam can actually read. So it makes sense to put Sam in a position where he's like training to be a maester. So this is before Jon becomes Lord Commander of the Night's Watch. So the dude Chet that Jon Snow kicks out, kind of like that he replaces with Sam via, like just convincing the Lord Commander Mormont that Sam would do better in that position. The dude Chet becomes like a dog, the dog herder, the dog shepherd, right? And he he kicks the like he's like trying to get the dogs to do something because he's gonna have a mutiny at the Fist of the Firstmen. So Jon goes ranging like he does with Corn Halfhand and stuff, and that's when he goes like with the Wildlings or whatever. So most of the Night's Watch is at the Fist of the Firstmen, and Chet is planning on doing a mutiny, and he's gonna use these dogs that he's been tasked with, and like he's supposed to run lines around the camp to make sure that their camp is secure and stuff, because they're like, in wildling territory north of the wall or whatever. And it just reminded me of Chet. Chet's not nice to the dogs, but just kicking them and stuff, like that's totally in a Song of Ice and Fire universe. It's like disrespecting animals and like not giving a crap. It's like it's a different time. I know it's not a typical reaction, because, most people are like, oh, poor dog. But I'm different in the sense of, like, it's fake. That's not real. The person didn't actually kick the dog, so it was funny. It was like a lore nod to me. I was like, oh, yeah, yep, that makes sense. That makes sense. That's the Song of Ice and Fire. They kick dogs. They don't care. I don't know if you know this, but the baby's head got sawed off. They also did that in the episode. We heard the bone crunching. I don't know. All right, so yeah, let's break down more of this trailer. Like I said, the reason why I'm being careful about not playing too much and cutting it off and going back and talking and doing all that stuff is because, if I play too much of it, copyright video will be removed. So, all right, let's play a little bit more. It's like 5 seconds. All right, so I might need to actually play it a little bit more then. I guess we could do it normal. Yeah, let's do it normal playback speed. So we kind of already talked about this part where Rhaenyra is just like, going to confront Daemon about what he did and how it makes her kind of screwed in a sense. And then we see that Aegon is obviously going to lose it. He's like, that's what I'm most looking forward to, is the range of Tom Glencarney, the range of Emma Darcy. There's a reason why these two actors, sorry if I got loud, I saw my volume spike. there's a reason why these two actors were chosen to kind of carry the series. We haven't gotten to see them showcase their ability to act. Scenes like this are what I'm looking forward to. Like, everybody agrees Jaehaerys and Aegon, at least I think, were the best part of the episode. The relationship is like, he's literally about to make a Lannister get on his hands and knees and be piggyback to his son, right? And like, I mean, I kind of thought this, but I seen it in an interview. Was it an interview or something? But basically, the reason why Aegon's like that is because all of these lords around him kind of did that to him. They disrespected him. They sort of shunned him. They would like talk mad crap to him. They disrespected him. They treated him poorly, right? So now that he's king, he gets to get back at them, right? And I remember thinking that in episode 9 of season 1 in 2022, I remember thinking like, yo, you guys are screwed now because everybody's mean to Aegon. I remember thinking like, why is everybody smacking this kid? Like, this was before he did all the rapping, right? But before he became a rapist, right? He was literally just being smacked and people were being mean to him. So of course he's going to become the bullier. So it's like you want to watch that on screen. That's like one of the best kind of characters. It's like this guy who now has power and like his mom's still smacking him on the way to the coronation. I'm like, he's going to smack her. He's going to confront her. He's going to do something. He's going to no longer take her crap. And it's going to be awesome to watch because she thinks that she can do that. And she can't. You can't just do that. You can't just walk all over people and expect them not to retaliate because that's a dumb way of thinking. I'm not saying he's a nice guy, but it relates, like I can relate to that real life. Like you just nice and people are like taking advantage of the niceness until you can't do that no more. You spaz out and like, yeah, that's what's happening. Or that's what I predicted would happen way back in season 1. I'm like, yo, when this dude takes power, all of these people around him are screwed because they're being so mean to him. Like literally they're being mean to him. And then people in my comment section, I mean, it's their opinion or whatever, but people in my comment section would be like, oh, dude, he deserves it. He's a rapist. He's a certified professional rapist. He needs that. And I'm like, yeah, okay. All right. Maybe that's what caused him to do it. My whole thing is that Alicent's lack of parenting is what made him like this. She knew that the king is the king, and this is a society where fathers are are nowhere near as hands-on as the mothers and the handmaidens and the women should be. Like in this society, women raise the children, men go to war and like go and try to make the money. That's that society. So it was her job as a mother to make sure this kid didn't turn out to be a freaking screwball. And she failed as a mother to do that. These are fictional characters. Obviously, that's like one of the worst things you could ever say to a mom is that you failed as a mom. But no, like for real, she failed as a mother. And Aegon turned out to be a certified rapist. So, dude, like, that's on you, Alicent. It's all your fault. It is always going to be your fault how this boy turns out, right? So, when he gets back at you, when he has power that you forced him to do, right? That's what makes the story so good is that she forced him to do this. She's like, nah, I don't want to do it. He's like, come on, Mom. I know my dad who said my whole life that my sister was his heir. He didn't suddenly change his mind at the end. He literally says that. He's like, do you love me? And she smacks him, right? That's her response. So I personally am, I don't know. I get sidetracked because I start reading comments on the chat. But yeah, I'm looking forward to Alicent having her comeuppance from King Aegon because she treated him so poorly. We are talking about the trailer Zaladin. If you want to go watch some other Song of Ice and Fire YouTubers, there's many of them that are not like me and that will probably put out better content. Will probably make more entertaining videos and all that. But this is the way I do it. So yeah, sorry. But yeah, I can't wait. Alicent, you kind of screwed yourself on that one, literally. Yeah, I don't know. It's pretty funny that she couldn't kind of see that coming. Like, how are you so situationally unaware that this kid that you haven't really put a vested interest in, like, remember, Rhaenyra was her father's cupbearer. We saw that In Fire and Blood, Rhaenyra is her father's cupbearer from age 8, and she's rarely ever seen without him by his side. On the TV show, they made it seem like he hadn't decided on who his heir was, but that's not the case. He knew early on Rhaenyra was going to be his heir, right? So on the TV show, when he makes her his heir, she becomes his cupbearer. So from that point forward, Rhaenyra very much is trained to be a good person and to see things from a better perspective, in the sense that, like, when the war first breaks out, she's like, we've got to keep the realm together. Chill. The war hasn't really kicked off yet. Everybody, relax. It's not too late to stay together, figure this out, and do things without blood being shed, right? That's because she was trained to do that. But Alicent, who wanted to pretend that she didn't know her son was trained to do that, he doesn't know. I don't know. It's dope. I think what's cool is I think I did see in an interview, Tom Glencairn was saying that the reason why he's so nice to the small folk is because he saw that they respected him. So, like, remember in episode 9 as Coronation, when he raises the sword and they all cheer, and you see the look, and I actually mentioned this in my breakdown. I literally said this. I was like, he's getting a hit of power. Like, everybody's mean to him. Everybody is talking crap to him. Everybody kind of bullies him. No one really expects him to succeed or amount to anything, right? He's a second son. He's his father's firstborn son, but he's a second son in the sense that he's, like, not the heir. He's the spare. So that, like, he's never felt love, right? So when he raises the sword up and everybody goes, yeah, and he goes, huh, what is this? And then he does it again, and then he's like, feeling love. And he does it again, and he's like, yes, the power. So carrying that into this season, he's nice as hell to the small folks. So that's dope. Really cool. I don't know why he's such a good character. He's gonna be dope. He's gonna be like I mean, you can't really compare him to anybody in Game of Thrones because it wouldn't be a fair comparison. Because a lot of the favorites from Game of Thrones had actual POVs. So we don't really know what they're going to do with this character. We know Tom Glencairn is going to continue to do an amazing job acting in it, right? But we don't know which direction the writers are going to take. And it could, maybe not make it so that he's a favorite like Jon Snow or something, is what I was going to say. Or maybe someone like Jaime Lannister, right? He has this big arc. Everybody kind of hates him in the beginning. Then he comes back around. Then he, comes around halfway through the season. And then by the end, everybody kind of hates him again for what he does to Brienne, right? That's kind of one of the best journeys. Not to say that Jaime's arc and everything that happened to him on the TV show was the best, but, that style of, that style of journey or that style of character archetype, I think is the right way to use that, is the most realistic in the sense that, as it is a struggle to be a human and to have a functioning brain and to stay on the right path. You're always going to be tempted to, if you're trying to change yourself and better yourself, like what Jaime does basically when he's like, you know what? I'm kind of done with my sister. I'm going to start doing it. Basically, after he loses his hand, he starts humbling himself. He starts trying to do the right thing. More so in the Song of Ice and Fire books, you don't really see that on the TV show because they kind of screwed up the plot so much. They didn't know what they were doing. But in the books, once Jaime loses his hand and goes back to King's Landing, he's only there for a very short period of time, and then he goes right back out into the Riverlands. He literally comes to King's Landing, talks with his father, right? His father currently has Tyrion locked up in a cell, and he's on trial, right? And he tells Jaime, he's like, look, Jaime, you're going to lay down your cloak, right? Cersei made it a thing when Barristan Selmy got dismissed, right? Because Jaime counters with, you serve in the Kingsguard for life. And Tywin's like, no. You can leave the Kingsguard. You're going to go be my heir at Casterly Rock and, be the Warden of the West kind of after me because, Tywin's hand of the king at this time. Jaime's like, nope, not going to do it. I'm the Lord Commander, right? So immediately him losing his hand is like, sorry, I skipped something there. But, before Jaime had lost his hand, he probably would have done something similar to that. Because then that would have mean that he would be free to kind of do what he wanted to and, not have to be, duty and honor bound, right? But once he loses his hand, it brings him down to rock bottom. And the only where you can go from there is up. So he starts his journey going up by refusing his father becoming the heir to Castle Rock. He's like, nope, you all made me the Lord Commander of the Kingsguard. I had no say-so of it, so now I'm going to be the Lord Commander. And he's like, my honor, my duty says that I cannot betray these oaths, right? And then Tywin's kind of like, all right, be gone. So I don't even remember what made me get to this tangent I'm talking about. Oh, yeah, that character arc, right? So, yeah, it's like a journey. Then on the TV show, he kind of has that journey too, right? But that's what I'm hoping we get with Aegon. We get this crazy journey where you kind of don't like him in the beginning because of how he treats Aemond in the dragon pit. I bet you that's going to be brought back up too, is like Aegon was being nice to Aemond, but Aemond still seems like he's one of those dudes that hold on to everything. So Aemond's going to hold on to when they made fun of him, the pink dread flying. That was all kind of Aegon's idea, right? So, but yeah, I hope he has a journey like that. So, like, in the beginning, you know, he was kind of like the bullying kid. You kind of didn't really feel bad for him. Then he started getting abused, and you kind of did feel bad for him. Then you see that continued into adulthood, and who that turned him into. Who that turned him into as an adult is kind of this pathetic human being that you can not necessarily relate to, but you feel pity for. And because of that, it makes it easier to, like, open up a spot for him in your, like, characters that you enjoy watching on screen. You know, he's one of my favorite characters. I'm not afraid to say that, but, like, you know, it's interesting to as a human to watch something that you couldn't be any different from or whatever. But, like, yeah, I don't know what I'm getting at. But yeah, let's play some more clip from the trailer. The anger, the emotion. Looks like his buddies closed that door. They're like, we might have messed up getting a little bit too drunk last night, guys. The king's son lost his head. So let me do this real quick. I'm going to put you guys over my mouth because I have to cough real quick. I hope you all are enjoying this spur-of-the-moment 58-minute live stream where we're supposed to be breaking down the trailer, but we're just now getting around to it. Hopefully, you know, you all haven't been too disentertained. Oh, crap. What did I just do? Uh-oh. Didn't mean to do that. Hang on a second. I got this. We got this. Oh, wow, there's 70 people watching? Dang! Oh, wait. Wait, what did I just do? Okay, we're still streaming. Yo, man. Oh, wow, you guys can see. Whoops. Okay, so there we go. Back on track there. Let me move this back to here. Call me now for your free tarot reading. Guess who's coming to dinner? Sorry. 70 people watching. That's what's up. Dope. That's how many people we had watching on Sunday. That's cool. All right. Naughty dreadlock. I've been la 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 la. Naughty dreadlock. All right. Woo, look at that. She's got that boss walk. You guys see that guy behind her? That guy, the bald one? Damn, no. That was too much. That's gonna flag me. I gotta be real careful. Come on. There we go. Right there. That guy. Can you guys still see this? Yeah, you can. Okay, that guy right there, right above me. This dude right here. Sir Stefan Darkling is gonna get eaten by a dragon. Sorry, spoilers. Okay? I don't know. I mean, I have to say that now because there's been a few breaks from canon. I don't know if they're gonna do it on the TV show. Okay? But that guy right there is gonna get eaten by Sea Smoke. Okay? Sea Smoke is gonna be mounted by the black dude with dreads. His name's Adam Fall. You saw his brother, Alan Fall. Alan Oakenfist, right? He becomes Oakenfist on the last episode. I will say this. Abu Bakr Salim looks a lot older than 15, right? I'm not saying he looks old, but I'm saying he looks older than 15. He looks older than like 14, 15, which is how old the Hull boys were supposed to be. The Hull boys, the dragon seeds that Corlys brings forward, so one of them saved his life on the TV show, Alan, right? Alan Oakenfist. They're supposed to be about 14, 15, because the idea is that they're Laener's bastards, right? Meaning Laener had to father them on a woman, right? A woman's in her vagina with the semen, mixing it in. It feels amazing, right? He would have had to have done that in order for these grown-ass men to be his children. But Abu Bakr Salim, right? Alan Oakenfist is my age. I don't know how old he's in real life, but I'm just saying, he looks like he's in his 20s, late 20s, early 30s, right? I don't know how they're going to do that for the TV show, because it's so blaringly obvious that they're not Laener's kids that no one is stupid enough to write that into the show and be like, oh yeah, everyone around in Westeros is just dumb enough to be like, oh yeah, those totally are Laener's kids, even though they're Laener's age, right? They don't look younger, right? They picked actors that look like Lucerys, the actor that played him, Elliot Reholt or whatever. He literally was like a year or something older than Luke was supposed to be in the TV show. Jacaerys is supposed to be 16 in the books, right? The actor that played him is like a teenager. He just turned 20. He's like 19. So that makes sense. So I don't know what they're gonna do. And I'm not even talking crap about the show. They're just doing something different, right? So it was supposed to be blaringly obvious, or I'm sorry, it was supposed to be kind of possible that Laener had these two bastard kids because they were 14 and 15. Yes, Laener's gay in the books, just like he's in the TV show. Yes, most people knew he was gay in the books, just like they did on the TV show. But the idea that they're his is possible for the simple fact that their age is it makes it possible, right? Because Laenor would have been so much older than they are. But for the TV show, they are Laener's age. So it's going to be interesting to see if they're going to do that same route where Corlys was afraid to bring these kids forward. They're actually Corlys's bastards, right? That's confirmed. Obviously, nothing is 100% in the books. There's no DNA testing, but it is Merilda of Hull is the father. Merilda of Hull is the mother of Adam and Alan, and she was intimate with Corlys. That's just there's no other way to put it. We do know that Laenor spent time in Hull, but he liked dudes. He wasn't going to Hull to have sex when he could have been doing that with Rhaenyra to make actual heirs for the kingdom. It just doesn't make sense. That wasn't going down. They're 100% Corlys' sons. So it makes me wonder how Corlys is going to hide that fact on the TV show by saying, oh yeah, these are Laener's kids, but they're Laener's age, right? But that's not going to happen, right? So I don't know. It'll be interesting. And he's also afraid to bring them forward as dragon seeds, or just bring them forward, officially recognize them as his bastards until after Rhaenys dies, because Rhaenys is a Targaryen, and if she found out that her husband was coupling with someone who was supposed to be half her age, like in the books, Merilda of Hull is way younger than Rhaenys. On the TV show, the woman that they cast to play Merilda, or who I think at least is going to be playing Merilda, is way closer to Corlys' age. The idea is that Rhaenys would be mad that her husband is hooking up with someone who's half her age and then had kids with them, and then also it's someone of such a lowly position that it's the shipwright's daughter. Merilda is the shipwright of Hull's daughter. Hull is a shipping port right next to High Tide in Westeros. Yes, it's in Westeros, where House High Tide, their seat is located. House High Tide. House Velarion's seat is located. Yeah. Driftmark is the name of their hub, but in canon, Corlys, because Driftmark would often flood and it was really dank and it just sucked as a seat of power, Corlys builds this place called High Tide, not too far from Driftmark, and that's the place that we saw on the TV show. And actually, it gets destroyed, much like the king's model of Valyria by Viserys. Viserys had the model of Valyria, and Aegon is going to destroy it. It looks as though he smashes it to tiny little pieces. But anyway, getting way back on track here, as I started talking about the dragon seeds, this guy right here, Sir Steffan Darkling, is going to get eaten by a dragon. And remember, Daemon, Daemon in episode 10, right, when Jacaerys tries to walk up to Daemon and check him, but Jacaerys is a little punk ass and he's not ready for the wrath of Daemon. Daemon's like, yo, come take a walk with me, fam. Fam, come take a walk with me. Walk with me, fam. Come on, over here. Come take a walk with me. I'm going to show you what it's like to be loyal to your mother. People tell me that I sound like Daemon, which is interesting because people also used to tell me I sound like Ramsay. It's because I got a little bitch-ass voice. I got a high-pitch, like a... I think it's because I speak more from my nose as opposed to from my chest when I'm sitting down. When I stand up, my voice kind of sounds different. But when I'm sitting down, I can speak from here. So, but yeah, I don't know if that bitchy-ass high-pitched voice is why when I do a British accent, people say I sound like Ramsay or Damon. I don't know. You guys tell me. Maybe it's when I do it like soft spoken, nasally and high pitched. But yeah, Sir Steffan Darkling, sorry, my boy, you're gonna be eaten by sea smoke, my boy. I'm sorry, my boy. Baela is right behind him. Looks like that's Baela. All right, so the next scene we have Chia. Oh, somebody put a stamp down on the table. What's going on with that? Winterpool. What? Winterpool? Where is that at? Oh, Maidenpool. Okay, so someone put a statuette on Maidenpool. Rook's Rest. It's Rook's Rest. That's what they're showcasing. Rook's Rest. But the area around it, right above it, that's Maidenpool. And then Dale. Something Dale. I don't know, but I don't really trust these maps, though, because they literally had an error on the painted table. They literally had a misspelling on the officially sanctioned, officially commissioned by HBO. They had an error on the dang map. So, yeah, I don't necessarily know what that is. But the next scene that I want to discuss... These little ball things right here is something that was added for the TV show is like a way to show that like, hey, this is my turn to speak. It's really cool. Or I wouldn't say really cool, but it's really cool that Tyland, so the Lannister for the show, right? Tyland, his one is gold. It's really, cause it's got a crack in it and it's painted gold. So it's like a gold vein for the mines under Casterly Rock. A nod to the canon, right? Which is pretty cool. Going further deeper into the canon, King Jaehaerys, the king that was in power at the beginning of this series, he when he was looking for a master of coin, he wanted to hire someone who didn't come from gold, right? And one of the people that was proposed to be his master of coin was a Lannister, right? And he mentions, like, I want someone who didn't just find gold underneath a rock. Well, I thought that was really funny because it's like an ultimate slate of the Lannisters. It kind of is. It's like they're very fortunate to have the mines that are Casterly Rock, because if they didn't, they would be pretty, like, nothing. They wouldn't be anything. So I don't know, just made me think of that. Aegon is obviously going to be extremely disappointed with the fact that his son no longer has a head. What would be wise would, in my opinion, because this is Westeros, is I would seek out for a healer, right? Because we do know that it is possible to bring someone back from the dead in this world. I have to take a crap again? That's nuts, dude. That is nuts. Hopefully the gas just goes away. Maybe I might have to let out a wicked fight on screen. But yeah, it's totally possible to bring people back from the dead in this show, and we all know that Arya asked Thoros of Myr and Beric Dondarrion, if they could reattach someone's head, not 7 times, just 1, and it was like the sweetest moment of any show ever, right? Because poor little innocent Arya was like, can you bring a man back with no head? Not 7 times, just once. Just only the 1 time will do. And I can't even remember if that happened on the TV show, but that is one of the most sweetest, most innocent moments of anything I've ever read or seen or anything like that. So, what I would recommend Aegon, right? First word of advice, before you freak out, before you go kill the rat catcher, before you kill all the rat catchers in King's Landing, right? Because that's what he's probably going to do. I would go to Essos and seek for a healer of the R'hllor fashion. During this time period, there actually is rumors of individuals who can escape death and individuals who can heal and come back from mortal wounds. So if I was King Aegon, I would seek for a healer and try to reattach my son's head. And then, if that was unsuccessful after many, many attempts, maybe even bring in someone like Qyburn, have a Qyburn situation. Like, obviously, those events happen in the future, but it's totally possible that the king, with all of his power and all of the knowledge and all of his maesters with their abilities, maybe they could try to do something, right? And then, if that didn't work, then I would get upset. I'm just kidding. This was a really long joke that I don't even think is that funny anymore because I have to poop. But yeah, I'm going to have to feed the children here soon. How long has this live stream been? Been live streaming for 1 hour and 12 minutes. We haven't really talked about the trailer that much, except we have been talking about what's coming and all that stuff. I just haven't actually broken it down all that much. Okay, so let's do it. Let's do it. For the next 10 minutes, we're going to get serious, man. Okay, so this is kind of what I was mentioning. Rhaenyra's reaction. Okay, so let's do this. Blood and cheese happens. Aegon's reaction is going to be... Where was he at? Okay, well, I can't find the scene now. This is Aegon's reaction. Perfect, right there. I declare war, right? So he's going to want retaliation. Rhaenyra's reaction is going to be, you ruined my claim, Daemon. Like, I know you're trying to help, but you literally made it so much harder for me to do what I need to do because you did what you did, right? And that's hire blood and cheese to go and kill Aemon, but they screwed that up royally. And honestly, if they had caught Aemon, like, he would have worked through them like butter, like a hot knife through butter, dude. Like, he would have carved them up, right? So Rhaenyra's going to be like, you wounded me. Daemon's probably going to be mad at Rhaenyra because he's like, I was only trying to help, and what I did, you were probably afraid to do it, right? Then we kind of talked about Rook's Rest, and then the last thing that I want to mention for this, because I got to go raise my children. Well, I just got to go help. My wife is going to work here in a couple hours, and I am not, so... She needs to do some stuff before she goes in, and I understand that because she didn't have that much time. There was one more big scene that I wanted to discuss. Who is this? This woman, these blonde women keep showing up all over these trailers. Who is this? That's an incredible nose, but who is this? Like, who do you think this is? Let me know. People watching now and people that are going to watch this afterwards, let me know who you think this is down below in the comments section. Oh, crap. I didn't mean to leave my analytics up for you guys to see. Who do you think this is? Down below in the comment section. Please, let me know. I will probably mention this in my live stream. And I'm definitely going to make a video tomorrow discussing all this stuff. But thank you all so much for hanging out with me. This was fun. Please slap a like on this video. Like was going to be 420. Special shout out to my Patreon family over on patreon.com/YourHuntsReviews. Big shout out to the Northwestern member, Breanne Johnson, and Pebbles83, and also Destiny Makes Queen Phillips 420. I got to add her back into the executive producer tier. I didn't know that she joined back up. She left my Patreon, but she came back, and I'm an idiot for not realizing that. But yeah, shout out to my Patreon members. Shout out to you for watching. Yeah, I look forward to Episode 2, mostly, I know the episode I'm most excited about this season, episode 4. We got like 3 more weeks to that. But, episode 2's coming. I'm going to be live every Sunday at 10. I haven't broken down episode 1 yet. But to be fair, I wasn't in the right mindset to review the episode. Like, what I did, my review, my live stream that I did after the episode, I'm going to leave that up. Those are my thoughts for episode 1. I don't need to break down that episode again because I already talked about it for 2.5 hours. And I just talked about it again now, and I'm going to probably talk about it again in Sunday's live stream. So I'm going to do a video for sure, but it's not going to be like an episode 1 breakdown. I already did that in my live stream. I probably will break down the rest of the episodes this season in video format, but if it's something that where I just wasn't that excited about all of the events in the episode, so I feel like my review would be lacking, I may just stick with the live stream post-episode. Who knows? Got a lot going on. Along that, thank you for watching.